Good morning, YouTube. This is Kelsey from Kels Reads Things, Anna Porter Public Library. And I am so excited to be here with you today to finally discuss one of my favorite books, one of my favorite series of all time. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. A beautiful, wonderfully constructed retelling of Beauty and the Beast, as well as East of the Sun, West of the Moon, which is a Norwegian fairy tale, and the Ballad of Tamlin, which I believe is either of Scottish or Irish heritage, and I will be sure to let you know for sure in my next book review video. This incredible first book depicts the story of Feyre Archeron, a 19-year-old starving human girl who basically is forced to live into this High Lord's home. He is High Lord of the Spring Court due to an act that she commits. And I don't want to give too much away. I want to be very vague in this review because I went into reading this with little to no information about it. I knew it was extremely popular, especially in the young adult, new adult category. I knew a lot of people that I even went to college with loved this book, and we had discussed books before, so again, I don't want to give too much away, but that's the basic premise, is that Feyre commits an act, and to basically attain for what she's done, she has to stay with the High Lord of the Spring Court. And along the way, she of course falls in love with the Beast, Tamlin, the Spring Court High Lord. And along the way, she discovers that there is a blight that is affecting Prythian, which is the magical world of the Fae. And it basically comes up to her to ensure not only the safety of Tamlin and her own family, but also the safety of potentially the entire fairy realm. And the human realm, if I'm being honest. Okay, now I would like to discuss briefly some of the characters, but especially Feyre. Feyre is unlike any character I have ever read before. She is prickly, but also beautiful. She basically has spent her entire life supporting and caring for others. Her family is extremely poor. They used to be wealthy merchants. However, at this point in her life and in her story, they are exceptionally poor, to the point where their only source of income is food, is when Feyre goes into the very risky and dangerous woods near her hometown, and she basically hunts in order for them to survive. Feyre is also an artist, however, she can't really focus on much of her work because, of course, she is supporting her family, and her family consists of two sisters, both older, Nesta and Elaine. Nesta could definitely be described as intense, unforgiving, potentially. She is, I would almost say, borderline abusive in her treatment towards Feyre, at least in the beginning of this book. And then there's Elaine, who is the middle sister, and she is kind and gentle, and she is a gardener, basically. And it's up to Feyre to care for them and her father, who unfortunately is, how do I say this? His leg is injured so badly that he basically can't work, and he's more or less given up on life. So it's definitely has been up to Feyre her entire life to support and take care of them. Especially once they lost all of their money. By the time she was 14, they had nothing. So she learned to hunt and skin and sell pelts in the marketplace in order just to make ends meet. And then you, of course, have Tamlin, the love interest. He is brooding and intense, and you really don't know how to feel about him at first, especially in terms of how he and Feyre meet for the first time. But of course you grow to love him throughout this book. And I will say something that not Feyre, but something that Sarah J. Maas did masterfully was create a lot of great characters in this series. And I definitely believe that a lot of these characters are in the gray area, and that's what makes them so interesting and so fun to read about. So thank you, Sarah, for this incredible book. I not only loved it because it was a retelling of one of my favorite stories ever, Beauty and the Beast, East of the Sun, West of the Moon, The Ballad of Tamlin. They all more or less have the same sort of themes, where two people who hate each other and are forced to be in close quarters to each other fall in love. However, the story just gets so much bigger and so much more in depth by the time you get to book two. A Court and Mist and Fury is the second book in this series, and I won't really discuss it today because I'm still discussing A Court of Thorns and Roses, but this is my favorite book probably that I have ever read. The characters just get that much more in depth. The storyline unfolds into this magical, beautiful labyrinth. Just the relationships in this story, and that's what I loved about this one, was the relationships, not only romantic but platonic, enemies that maybe become friends, friends that may become enemies. I mean, it's just, Sarah has just created and webbed a beautiful story in these books, and I cannot wait to discuss this one with you. However, again, I absolutely love this retelling. I thought it was a masterfully done retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It was masterfully done because it was similar themes, but by the mid-book, she takes it into a completely different direction. And Feyre has to use her skills, her knowledge, as well as her tendency to listen in on things in order to help her survive. And of course, with that being said, I give this beautiful, amazing book 5 stars. All of these books are 5-star books. Every single one of them. In fact, I like to re-listen to the audiobooks at least once every few months. That's how much I adore these books. I also just want to mention the writing style. It is a beautiful labyrinth. Again, she webbed an incredible story with words. It was almost like prose at some point, and it was just so masterfully done. So thank you so much, Sarah J. Maas, not only for your incredible characters and their development, the amazing world building that is Prithian and the human world, and for the characters and the relationships to each other. But specifically for Feyre and her growth as a character. I already loved Feyre when we first meet her, and I should say that she does narrate this story. It is definitely in Feyre's point of view the whole time, and it's present tense. And I will say, I love her so much. And who she is in the beginning is amazing, but who she becomes will just hopefully blow you out of the water as much as it did me. I loved every second of it. I love the ride. Well, thank you very much for watching today and for supporting my little YouTube channel. I'm hoping now that I have a little bit more of editing experience, it will go further, and because of your support, it will. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Well, thank you very much for watching today and for supporting my little YouTube channel. I'm hoping now that I have a little bit more of editing experience, it will go further, and because of your support, it will. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday afternoon.